just go ahead and roll. We're at, yeah, I think we should just go ahead and roll. You have the agenda and stuff to roll with.
I do.
I'll take some notes.
Oh, are you okay? Good. Well, then I'll quit writing on everybody's name. Yeah. So if we've got the roll covered, did everybody have a chance to look at Jennifer's minutes from the last meeting?
Uh-huh.
Yep. I move that we approve.
All right, Marilyn, do I have a second?
Second.
Patrick, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No? All right, excellent. So we'll take those as approved. Moving on into our agenda, our first item is to discuss the Bur Oak Baroque Festival. And I know Walter and Margot are joining us, but Jen said she was going to bring them in. So I don't know how we make that happen.
Who's, let me look and see who the host is.
I don't know. I've just got a big box at the bottom of my screen that says Webster Groves, but I don't know.
Webster Groves is the host. So until we figure out where Jen is, maybe we should just go ahead and.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, the next item is the Poetry Week, which, by the way, was great fun. I mean, I guess it was Poetry Month, but I don't see Lauren either. So maybe we'll just jump on, Beth. And do you want to take over and talk about the walking tour for a little bit while we're? Can I move you up? Beth, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So let's see. I apologize because the past couple of months I have been bogged down with a work project and also a family project. So I haven't gotten as much done as I had hoped, but I can share a few things. If you want to give me, let's see, can I share my screen? Looks like I can. Are you guys seeing landing page for public art?
Nice. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So as thinking about this, that we kind of all agreed that the first step is actually getting a kind of full catalog of what we have with descriptions, photos, artist statements, if we can get them, and making that available online. And then we can find different ways to repurpose that, whether it's for tours or for other information that we provide to schools or whatever it might be. So in looking at the current city's website, there's a little page for public art, and it mostly focuses on giving to the public art funds. But I was thinking it might be a good idea to create kind of a larger framework around this. So why do we collect public art? Why do we display it? What's the role of the Arts Commission in selecting it? And then a donation to the Public Art Fund. So giving a little bit of more context here, fleshing it out. And then below that, and again, this is all kind of, I'll explain at the end. I need to talk to Jennifer a little bit about what the website can support, but kind of just thinking around if we had then after that, a list of all the different art with links to individual pages about each piece. And on that landing page, if possible, we could also put a slideshow that would kind of just go through the different kinds of art to kind of entice people, and they could also then find something they liked and link to that. So just kind of did a sample of kind of what kind of content could be on a particular art page. So we have, just as an example, after hours here, artists, location, materials, and this I all pulled kind of from online. So I might need to re-fact check it. Don was so gracious to go out and take photos, which I'm still kind of looking through. These are not Don's photos here, but the idea is that we could have kind of a collage of different aspects and views of the art. And then a description of the piece. And then if I pulled this artist statement from a piece from Webster University's news. So that is something that she did say about the piece, and we'd, I guess, give permission from them to use that. And then another element could be, things to notice, questions to ask. So that could be like some of that geared more towards kids if you're taking your kid on the tour, or just in general, the public, like what to notice about the piece, anything unusual, or questions that it might bring up. So that could be like these, basically, I think I don't even, how many pieces do we have? Does anyone know officially, like how many public art pieces?
All the pieces are listed on the website, Beth. Did you not find that
Well, I found a PDF.
of every piece?
Well, there's a PDF of like all the different arts. Are they listed like this? Or like, is it just a list of
No,
names?
it's a list of all of the pieces that we have in the artists and where they are.
Okay, I did find a PDF that was there. Yeah, so it linked off to the document. I wasn't sure how up to date it was. But I can take another look at that. I didn't look at it like ultra carefully. It was, and I know it showed some of the paintings in City Hall as well. So that was
Yes.
what you're talking about? Okay. Yeah, so I did find that. So the idea would be that, you would have you'd be adding essentially 20 something pages to the website if we went this kind of route to have individual, pages for each piece. The benefit of that is that there's an individual URL for each piece. So then when if you're doing a printed, page that you're handing to people, if they're getting at the library or City Hall, then you can have like a custom link that would take them directly to that larger explanation of the piece, rather than having essentially a very long printed document that's expensive and kind of bulky and not environmentally friendly. So these are just kind of some thoughts, but really my next steps here would be, I'd love to get a smaller group of people that would kind of regroup on this and maybe help me move things forward, either collecting information that we need, and also just kind of bouncing ideas. And then I do need to talk with Jennifer or someone at the city about kind of what the limitations are. I know, every website has its own kind of coded formats, specs that are required for photography. So just making sure that the content that we're getting is suitable for the site so that it can be very useful. So that kind of is talking really more about the framework that needs to go in place before I think we can get anything that's like more tour focused. But I think if we have this up and available, then there's a variety of things we could do to essentially create tour maps with links that people can go to for more information. John at one point mentioned QR codes. I mean, there's a variety of things you could do to have like a little added QR code at each piece. Now that's probably a little bit more of an expense to get that printed up, but then that's irregardless if someone's on the tour, they can still access this information very easily and get more information about each piece.
Beth, I think this looks amazing. And I do appreciate your point about having it in sort of bite-sized chunks where each piece can be accessed independently as opposed to one ginormous thing. Are other commissions doing this sort of thing attached to the city webpage, or do we even know if this is, I guess we need Jennifer to answer that.
But the Historic Preservation Commission has been doing a number of things with those tour books. There's some audio with them and some touring with them and some photography. So the HPC is doing that in terms of homes and buildings, but I don't know of anybody else.
Are they doing it as those printed books though? Because I really appreciate Beth's point about this mostly being online, because then
They're going to have both, all
yeah,
printed books as well as access from your phone so that you can walk and listen at the same time.
wow.
What's cool about this is it's where, they're going with a lot of art preservation, and that is digitalizing it. And so you really coming up with a great resource for our art teachers, our other art teachers, to take their whole class through something like this.
Mhm.
Much easier, and for them, as according to hurting all the kids out there, they can really sit down and dive into this stuff. I think it'd be a great resource for
This is Alex.
everything.
Is this what's the ultimate goal? Is it in terms of just increased visibility and usability of the public art that is in the city?
Yeah, I think that we all just want, we have all this beautiful art available and we want people to be able to experience it in a little bit more tangible way and have an understanding of what the background is. So when we recognize, we kind of originally thought of doing a walking tour that would kind of give people the idea of like starting at the library, starting at City Hall, and enjoying some of the pieces that are down Lockwood, and then going over to the sculpture garden. And I think that's still kind of the goal, but I think that to get there, we kind of need to have all of the information collected and available.
Yeah.
And having that online is helpful, because then it can be used in multiple different ways. So yeah, I think it's just, it's getting people to connect with the art that we have and have a better understanding and appreciation for it. That's my understanding. If anyone wants to chime in on that.
Yeah, and then to also direct people to, or mistake me, correct me if I'm wrong, the public art fund, so you can increase the funding to do more, right?
Well, I mean, yes, that would be ideal too. If people feel so inclined to donate, that would be excellent as well. But I think that there's just, there is so much here, and that there's not really a good, like looking around online, there's not really a good resource that the city has to showcase everything that we have. So how can we help create that and get a better understanding for the role that the Arts Commission plays and securing this and being stewards of it. But also just letting people know that it's available and getting them to engage and understand it a little bit more, things they walk by every day.
Well, I'm new, but feel free to loop me in on all of this. I've been involved in a lot of different things, from Lawmeyer to CAM to everything else, in terms of wayfinding and creating either maps or interactive tools and
Fabulous.
Developing content and labels. So I've kind of done this all before. So, and this is really interesting to me. And I think it would be good to increase all those things. I also think it would be good to increase the amount of money that you're getting to the public. I'm new to that too, in terms of if that's tax deductible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's gotta, do we know off the top of our head how much that receives? Just sorry, I have a lot of questions, but do we know how much that receives, like on an annual basis in terms of donations?
No, what we've done, it's primarily been used as we need money. We have used that to fund various things. For example, in the sculpture garden, for example, the Finnerties funded the bird in the sculpture garden. The Public Art Fund gave them a way to provide a major gift and get the tax deduction for it. The same thing happened with Barbary Park. We raised $150,000 for that sculpture, and it traveled through the Public Art Fund. Sitting there now is not very much money, because there's not a goal for some additional item. Yeah, great. No, I mean, it's awesome that the fund exists and it's tax deductible. Being a new resident, I personally didn't even know that it existed. Now that I know, like, I want to contribute to it, So I think attaching a tool like this and saying, we can create more, and here's how to do it. Here's the link to give money. You might be surprised how they might start coming in, Anyway.
I appreciate all of that, Alex, and consider yourself looped. If you have a background in this and would love to help out, I'd love to have you. So if it's possible, I don't know what the rules are of like a subcommittee or getting people to engage on that, but
You guys can talk all you want.
Yeah, I think as long as, is it 4 people? If it's fewer than 4 people, you can actually, get together and have coffee or something. and be physically present to go over things or whatever, without having to notify the larger group. If it gets more than, I think it's 4 people, we have to.
We try to stick with 3 actually. So if you get 3 people together, you're really safe.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to join us in our little group?
Beth, I'll join as well.
Oh yeah, great, Don, and thank you so much for your photography. That's awesome.
Ain't no problem.
There's
Alex,
our 3.
yeah.
There's our 3. And I know that puts us over the limit, but I know Judy had said she would be interested in helping to track down the information about the art. So maybe not so much the structuring, the online piece of it, but if you need more researchers, I know that's certainly something she's got a lot of experience in. So.
But I wouldn't need necessarily.
Oh, Judy, there you are.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, you weren't on my screen. I didn't know you were.
Right. No, I didn't get the link for some reason, so it took me a while, but yeah, I'm here.
Excellent.
Who's the writer of the group? Who's an editor writer?
Well,
And
I
that's
have
good.
Editor, writer. So, well, Beth, you're probably the best.
Yeah.
well,
okay.
I don't know about that, but I'm happy to I'm happy to give it a go. So
No, I can generate content and you can.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, it sounds like that's off to a really good start. So
Hey y'all, I've been here. I've just
Jennifer,
been
there
sitting
you
here.
are.
I'm having computer issues.
I was
so I'm
just
on
going to
my
say,
iPad.
is Jennifer here?
Margot and Walter are here too, and they are panelists now. So
Okay,
we're
cool.
fine.
Well, Beth, do we need to do anything else, or do you guys want to get together as a smaller group and carry on and report back?
yeah, I'm happy to do that. Alex is on? I'm sorry, I haven't met you before. Alex, are you on? I guess I just need his contact information if I don't have it. So you can, if you want to chat.
I'll
that
try
to
to
me.
send out a roster today, a new one,
Okay, fabulous.
if I've got it. Yeah.
Great, cool. Cool. All right, well, in that case, I don't know, Beth, you want to, maybe we could not share your screen for a minute here, and we'll go back up to the top of the agenda and start over.
Sorry.
Are Walter and Margot here already?
They should
Oh,
be.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, there
so
we are. Hello. Well, welcome to the Arts Commission meeting here. I'm sorry about all the technical difficulties there. I don't actually exactly know what was going on. But this is the Webster Arts Commission. This is Walter and Margot Parks, who are very, very graciously organizing for us a Bur Oak Baroque Festival. And I guess, do you guys want to jump in and give us an update on what's going on? Sort of give us the synopsis real fast?
Yeah, thank you. And we could see you all trying to get to us earlier in the meeting, and we were like, we're here. and they're gonna think we're
didn't
this,
show up.
we're not part of it, but no, we're very much a part of it. And it's the preparations for Bur Oak Baroque are going very well. I mean, the nucleus and the foundation for everything is, of course, the talent and what we're presenting. And so Margot's going to put something up on the screen if she can share it with you all, and we'll start with this.
That one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. So here's who we have on the talent roster so far. Once again, Baroque music is roughly from the 1600s to the late 1700s, and the whole concept, I'll back up slightly, for doing Bur Oak Baroque is because there's the big Bur Oak Liberty tree in Larson Park, right behind our house, which is at the corner of Poplar and Oak Street. So when I saw that Bur Oak plaque that the city put up there in the 1970s, I thought, well, Bur Oak would go perfectly with the name Baroque. And so it started from a concept, but conveniently enough, that tree was around in its very young stages at the beginning of, or during the tail end of the Baroque music period. So some of the musicians who we have made offers to and gotten commitments from are going to be playing music from the period when that tree was very young. So we're tying in the whole theme of it all. So anyway, here's the talent that we have so far. Early Music Missouri, some of you all probably know Jeff Noonan. He is a lute player or a theorbo player, and he has put a trio together called La Petite Brise, made of Missouri, St. Louis and Missouri musicians, and one of them's coming from Southern Illinois. But anyway, they're going to be doing a repertoire. The musicians are going to be off and on. They'll be on for 10 minutes. They'll go off, and another musician will take their place. It'll keep flowing, and variety will kind of be flip-flopped. We've got a dancer coming in from New York who's actually from Sweden, and Margot presented the dancer and a cellist at Carnegie Hall right before the COVID hit. It was one of the last events to take place in Carnegie Hall in March of last year. So this dancer is named Julia Bingston, and she is fantastic. We'll show pictures of her.
And she studied Baroque and actually does Baroque workshops. And so maybe there's something we can work with educationally in that too. She was willing to give a workshop or something, but anyway.
Yeah, so we've got soprano Elise Labarge, who's originally from Webster Groves, now living in Chicago. Elise and myself, when I say soprano, she's not a television actor doing Italian gangster films. She's an opera singer, and she will be singing opera with me. I will not be singing, but I'll be accompanying her on just a couple of songs, things we've done over the years together. So I've known Elise for 20 years, and she's a wonderful singer.
She was my neighbor growing up, so I've known her all my life.
So we've got the very, very local talent represented by Elise Labarge. Jody Redditch and Alan Ferber actually are some people we knew in New York who have now moved to St. Louis, like Margot. Jody is from St. Louis and has come home to raise kids, and the COVID, like us, brought her here, and so we all wanted to continue to share a cultural and artistic spirit here in the St. Louis area, Webster area, in a way similar to what we were doing in New York. So Margot can maybe put up photographs of some of these artists. Now, I will say this: when you see the photographs, please keep in mind that we are not quite, we still have some openings. There's still some talent positions that we'd like to fill. So we're looking to diversify a bit, and we're taking care of that, but the search is on. So here's Elise Labarge, a picture of Elise. She's from Webster. Here's Jeffrey Noonan, who's a lute player, also from St. Louis, and he's bringing in musicians from Kansas City and Southern Illinois. This is Jody Redditch, who lived in New York City, and Margot worked with her in Carnegie Hall as well. And Alan, her husband. And this is Julia. This is the performance at Carnegie Hall with a cellist that we're talking to, trying to get. She unfortunately for us, she lives in Copenhagen, Denmark. So we don't know if she's going to be able to make it. But this is Julia dancing with another cellist. So that's who we have so far. So I want to, in preparation for what this event would look like, we took some pictures for you all at night. The festival we're envisioning starting at 7:30 at night, at dusk, and going into the evening. And we've got some wonderful LEDs that very beautifully portray the oak trees at night. So here's an image of the way it looks. And so picture the stage being at the foot of that oak tree, and we're taking this photograph from the top of a hill. I don't know if you all have been to this exact spot in Larson Park. Most of you probably have. But the audience will be looking down on this oak tree. The dancers and the musicians will be down at the foot of the tree. And here's a depiction of the stage area. So that's during the day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Did somebody have a question? I hear somebody talking. Yes. No, they're talking amongst themselves. So the stage will be 6 inches or so off the ground. It's not going to be very high. It's a 24 by 20 foot stage. These other two circular things are just platforms for the public address system. But that's an overview of what we've planned so far. Again, the event would start at 7:30 and go till, we would like to reserve till 10 o'clock, but we're planning to end around 9:30, 9:45, something like that. We kind of need to extend into the nighttime so we can take advantage of that wonderful lighting on the oak tree, which, as you all know, in the summertime, night doesn't fall until 8:30, 8:45, something like that. So anyway, that's where we are in terms of talent so far. We will be getting a few other artists to hopefully to bring in a little bit more diversity than just people of European descent and so on. But you get where we're coming from, and that's a concern of ours. So we're working on it.
Do you want to see if they have any?
Yeah, any questions or thoughts so far?
This is really impressive. This is amazing. Congratulations on everything you've done. Are you selling tickets for this, or?
Oh no, this is that was a terrible omission in my part. We plan for this to be free to the public, and
I'm just curious because I've been involved in producing some concerts. Are you financing this yourself then, or?
Yeah, Margot and I are we're guaranteeing the talent money. You know, it is going to be, you know, it's pricey.
Yeah,
but we've already made it's kind of our initial hello and thank you gift to the city and just our own kind of orientation.
Well,
of the block.
thank you. I know this is no small thing.
Right.
I have an idea of how big it is, and thank you very much. I can hardly wait.
So Margot
and
has.
I was going to say, and also we have a sound system because we produce these events at our home and when we lived in New York or Jersey City. So we have that, and obviously a little bit of lighting. There are additional things that we have to get, and so we're obviously looking for sponsorship for that. And I know Jerry and I have already, and Walter have already talked about things the city can do as far as helping produce the event too. And I don't know how detailed you want me to get into all of that, but
I'm sorry to talk so much. I don't know what level of concern there will be regarding COVID in July. Probably still some. Are you going to have some safe seating or signal to the public that that's a concern and you're taking care of it?
Yeah, we talked about how to best do that. Different events that I've talked to other presenters who have done, they've done something such as like actually creating little squares that are safely 6 feet apart, like with flags. And in our marketing, we would, recommend that people wear masks if they're in walking through the area, but in their space, obviously, if they're with their people, they don't need to. We were talking about having maybe some porta johns there with a lot of hand sanitizers and, someone spraying down the bathrooms if as people are using them. Obviously this all requires like a lot of volunteer help doing that. And I think those are the main things I think people are mostly concerned about when it comes to it's outside, it's very open, and it's actually quite a large field. I mean, if that was packed, I would be more concerned. I'm not sure if it would be, but this first year around, but
I mean, we could start off by just definitely saying we're going to get a bunch of little flags, and we could cordon off 6 foot squares or whatever is recommended by the
CDC.
powers that be, CDC and so on. We could do that, or we could wait until July, the beginning of July, and kind of see what the national consensus on it is. In other words, if the powers that be deem that the government, that the populace can kind of figure that out for themselves, we won't worry about the flags. But we're happy to get to just order a bunch of flags and cordon it off. That's a very quick quick thing to do.
And the great thing about this location is that there are two very distinct entries into it. So we can even have someone stand, depending, I mean, it feels like it's changing constantly, but depending on if we needed to have someone taking everyone's temperature as they go into that area or something, I don't think it'll be necessary to that extent, but.
Well, one thing to note.
It is something that I think about. Sorry, Beth.
I was just going to say that, we'll have been through 4th of July by then, and I think there'll be a lot of, we have the parade, we have a carnival, we have fireworks going on. So maybe just like thinking of coordinating, like what are those folks doing? And because by then you'll have a couple weeks after that. But I'm imagining for things like the fireworks, it might just be like signage saying, and I'm guessing here, but like I've seen a lot of signage that people put up, like make sure to maintain 6 feet, and then kind of giving people the benefit of the doubt to do that. But again, that would be a kind of good precursor to judge like how people are handling that.
It's a really good suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, and sorry, I'm not to piggyback on that, but I know Webster Arts has been having some issues with the county in terms of getting approval. Is that something that we'll have to do for this? I mean, do we have to have a COVID plan filed, or is this going to be small enough that we don't have to do that?
They're also working, the Muni is going to be, that will be a cursor too, I mean, to follow.
Katie, they've been working with Scott Davis because this is obviously a joint venture with the Parks Department as well as Webster the Arts Commission. And I'm hoping that we can, as the Arts Commission, provide some of this volunteer help that's going to be needed to carry this on. I think that's a really good question for Scott Davis. About whether or not we're going to have to file with the county to get their permission to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good question and something that we need to ask Scott.
Yeah.
Well, let's just make sure we got tick marks in all the boxes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's a lot of boxes these days.
Margot and Walter.
Yes.
Yes. When you were talking about finding other resources, for example, the cellist, this is a local person, Bjorn Ranheim. Do you know him? He's in the St. Louis Symphony. Younger. He's he's very excellent, and he does things like this. He likes, I mean, he plays with jazz musicians sometimes. He might be a person that would be a good, I could get his information to you. And also a local person that is from St. Louis. Do you know Julia Bullock? Probably.
We do know, we would love to have, we are speaking with Julia's family right.
Oh, good, because my niece went to school with her at John Burroughs, and I know Julia actually because I was on sabbatical. That's a long story. From Berkeley College, and I coached their little small a cappella group, and Julia was in that. And so, but I know that she's open to many different things also in Baroque music. So she maybe would be home during that time visiting. I don't know.
That's a great nudge there. I know we have, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, as far as diversity, also, I may have a few other people, but I don't know if they're from St. Louis, maybe from Chicago.
It's fine, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think someone else who the Arts Commission is very familiar with is Nina Ferrigno, who plays with the symphony as well, and her husband, Scott Andrews.
Yeah.
They would be a good resource as far as Webster residents. They run the Missouri Chamber Music Festival. And I think they would love to be, at least to offer some advice and events like this.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you. We're still at it. So yeah, thanks.
Sounds like a great event.
Yeah, and that's if nobody has any other questions at this point, I definitely have some things to just put out on the table that we could you know, issues that go along with it that we still need to discuss, if that's okay. Number one is the concept of a rain date, or what we do if the weather's not great. Margot and I would prefer, because if we thought about a rain date, for instance, on that hill, if it rains on Friday, July 16th, then probably Saturday, July 17th is out, because the hill's still going to be wet. And if we were considering Sunday, the whatever that would be, the 18th, then that's an extra 2 days that we have to keep people around and pay for, and so on. It's essentially, Patrick, of course, you know this from it's essentially like paying them for two gigs. Yeah. So what we thought of, although we haven't implemented this or started the wheels in motion, we thought of maybe doing an indoor Plan B on the same day. And
sounds good.
Possible locations. Again, we haven't even started this part of it yet, but in our thinking, here are 3 ideas that we have for a possible Plan B location. One that comes to mind is the Monday Club on Maple. Just again, I'm just riffing here. This is not anything. We haven't even talked to them yet. I'm sure some of you all have connections there. Another is Memorial Hall that Margot's associated at First Congregational Church at the corner of Lockwood and Elm. And another would possibly be the Ozark Theater. So these are all possibilities that size-wise they could handle it.
If I could propose another one, just while you're, in case those don't work out.
Yeah.
The Masonic Hall.
Oh, right.
Across the street. They have a nice little stage. It's a nice building, an Ittner building.
Patrick, I haven't been in there. Are there permanent seats on the floor?
No.
Oh, great. Because I love to do this kind of an event. If it's an indoor thing, I love to do it in the round. Now with COVID, that presents more challenges, but maybe not. I mean, you still have to have people spaced out, even if they're in seats, no matter what the orientation is. But I've done some very successful events with the Florida Ballet when we lived in Savannah, Georgia, and the audience was in the round, and I could picture that at the Masonic Hall, and the performers are in the middle, and the audience was seated at tables. They were actually kind of spread out at that. But anyway, it can work. That's a great suggestion. Thank you. So, yeah.
That place is much larger. The Monday Club is actually pretty small, Walter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Small.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I haven't been in there. I've just walked by it with the dogs the same way we found our house. So
there's so many places. I mean, Narinx has a nice little theater too.
Oh yeah, I've been in there.
Okay. Yeah. Great. So the other thing is that I want you all to know, Margot, can we get back this Baroque, this frame thing? This logo is just a working starter that I had, just to give you all an idea of sort of, so please understand that this was just I put something down to make it look good at the beginning for this meeting. So whatever we need to say as to who we're working with, or the Arts Commission, the Parks Department, however you want it worded. If you want us to take off the City of Webster Groves, we can do that too. I mean, I'm talking about the bit down at the bottom, presented by Margot and Walter Parks with the City of Webster Groves in cooperation with the Oak Street neighbors, which I think we're going to get a lot of volunteers from on this street. If we need to include another organization, the Arts Commission, you guys let us know what we need to say. If you would prefer the Webster Groves logo, that would be fantastic. I'll put this on. I just need a high-res image, and we can deal with those logistics later. But this is, this is an example of what a postcard front might be. On the back, we would have printed a map of Larson Park, so people know exactly where to go. They will know that it will be a BYOB situation, or bring your own blanket, bring your own picnic, whatever. There's not going to be any of those refreshments sold on premise. It's a kind of a outdoor picnic sort of thing. So all of this information, the logistical information, will be on the back. And the other thing is just getting the local merchants on board. Maybe Margot can maybe talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, well, we had talked about, I think, Jerry, we had talked about the Old Webster Trade Association. Yeah, and just how to, and maybe this is something you guys can help us with. I mean, this would be wonderful if you could help us with, is the outreaching the local community up here with the restaurants. I was trying to think of ways we can cross promote with some of those restaurants, either like an early dinner and then walk over to the park, or bring your picnic, because everyone's doing such great jobs with carry out. And I'm open to any suggestions for that as well.
Yeah, we can use this as we can use this festival, whatever this is going to be, a one night concert, as a way to drive business downtown rather than take away from it. If they help in the preparation of picnic items or takeout, like Margot said, and they reserve them in time, it would be I think a big boost to Olive and Oak and all those places down there, Jet Pizza, whatever, so that was what I kind of envisioned early on, but
and then let's see, yeah, that was all I had on that.
The one more thing I wanted to just raise is the really cool idea of this dancer, Julia Bangstrom, doing a workshop probably the day after. There's a lot of young dancers, people in the arts, who would attend a workshop, and it would be something that local dance students, young girls or whatever, would attend this. Julia would be talking and just giving a dance demonstration, and that would be something she would probably charge for, just to help pay for her trip. And we would just give all the money to her on that. But
she is actually doing. She's working with a company in Iowa, I think. I mean, they're doing a virtual one, but she said she has she has like a family friendly version of it. And I had this imaginary, like, whatever, just an idea is that if we wanted to do like a family friendly, like the next morning at 10 a.m. somewhere, we could even have that be a free event that people can come to in the park, like maybe over by the gazebo or in that field, since it's kind of flatter. I don't know, but I think if we wanted to charge tickets, that would be good. I was just going to throw up a poster she sent me, so you kind of get an idea of what she's doing at this other place. So like these are the 4. She's doing a bunch of classes, but she could just do one for this. But this is something that she put together for the Deanery School of Music. So, and anyway, so that's just an idea if you guys have any ideas about that.
Can you hear me?
she said that this was coming.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hello. Yes.
Yes. I could help promote this concert with some paintings of the performers, and just have it go into the paper, so that we've got another. That
would be lovely. And I've seen your work around. I love the horses near Kay Wenzin's house, and I love the tree. I love your shadow on the side of that hardware store. That is
thank you.
That is really, really cool. And I didn't get it for a while. And sometimes that's what I think about art. You look at it for a while, you stare at it, and then you go, oh, I get it. And I would sit with the dogs on those benches out by the Masonic Hall. And then I go, it was just the right time of day. And I just find, you know, I kind of think myself a little dense. It took me so long, but it was really nice. So,
Well, you know, it's time to the summer solstice.
oh, it is. Wow.
Yeah. It completely matches on whatever day that is.
June 21st.
He's
Yeah.
fell.
And then
Got out there with a pencil and worked really quick to trace that out, I guess. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And the witches dance.
I could do some drawings like the 16th century, use it with musicians to just go with the 16th century. And I could become Albrecht Dürer.
Magnificent. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, Margot and Walter, this is amazing. I mean, this looks like an amazing program. I cannot wait to see this happen. I guess it sounds like a couple of folks maybe have some other contacts. So if we can, I don't know how to share everybody's email addresses so we can all stay in touch about this. And if there's anything else that we can do in advance, I mean, if there's any way that volunteers can help, just let us know. I mean, we
Okay.
think everybody's really excited about this. So
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some muscle work that'll will be needed. I'd like to put down some, for instance, several sections of plywood so we can kind of just get the stage in there without destroying the grass and that kind of thing. We've done, Margot and I've done this before in different locations, so we know we need help with it, mostly just muscle work. And
yeah, Scott and I talked about one thing that from the Parks Department that is kind of, I'm still working on in my head, is lighting between where we're having this and say the public bathrooms, and because it's the park, so it's not a brightly lit pathway there. So I'm trying to come up with some creative ways to do that. So if anyone wants to help with that or has any ideas about that.
Yeah, but the oak tree again is kind of, it's a little bit of a hike away from the gazebo where the restrooms are. So we need to get that path lit. And
yeah, so like we've had ideas from either just people holding flashlights to having, you know, Christmas lights kind of streaming through. It's just
you know, at Schnarr's, they have, I don't know how far it is or what kind of budget there is, but they have those little, they're like $3 a piece, and those little LED lights that you stick in the ground.
Yeah, Patrick, I'm gonna go to Schnarr's and buy like maybe 10 of those and see how many of them we need to get the job done. Those are those solar powered things, right?
Yeah, they're cheap ones, plastic ones. They're like $3 a piece. We've got them in our front yard. They work really well.
But are they battery powered? Yeah.
Please
are they
call me. I would love to help you.
Okay. All right. We'll take up everybody some of that.
I'm going to make a suggestion that somewhere in the next perhaps 2 weeks, we get Scott together with Katie and the parks and anybody else, and we bring those pieces together so that we know what the Arts Commission can do to help. If you're going to need muscle on that day, what the Parks Department says we can or cannot do with COVID, all those pieces, I think we need to bring folks together and get those things ironed out. So
sign me up, please. Sign me up.
Sign Patrick up for it. Okay. Let's see, Katie, if we can manage to do that, to get everybody together. Because the Parks Department is obviously a huge part of this too.
Yeah, well, and frankly, they've got more muscle than I do.
Yeah, and he's already said that they would help. So
yeah, he's got big muscle.
It comes down to sheets of plywood, let them lift.
they got some big boys over there.
Yeah, and we've talked to Scott about it. He's okay with that. He's down for it. He knows what we're gonna need. So yeah.
But that would be great. Yeah.
Pull all that together. Let's do
all right, great. Well, maybe and Jerry, what do you think? We'll just send an email out to everybody and say, if you happen to be out walking your dog and wander by, we'll just let you know when we're going to be in the park. If anybody else wants to come check it out.
I'd like to.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, I
So-
mean, I think
Whatever.
we've got some
I think
fantastic-
more importantly, it's just getting that checklist together and
Yeah.
figuring out, who's going to do the postcard, when that's going to go out, all that sort of stuff just needs a checklist. And let's just get a little group together, figure that out, and then go from there.
Yep.
Okay, and we've got just so y'all know, we've got a press deadline coming up, I think this week for the Webster Lockwood Times. Webster Kirkwood Times. I'm still haven't got my woods. Yeah. Yeah. So,
I think they're putting together their summer activity.
Yeah.
So.
So we need to, cross our fingers that the county gives us the green light. We still we need to let them know this is happening, even though all of our ducks aren't completely in a row yet. We're going to miss the press deadline if we don't let them know about this. And I think that's an important deadline to get on that summer schedule.
Yeah.
Just put an asterisk on, just an asterisk that says, subject to COVID regulations or whatever. That takes care of all of that.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you guys for this.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
so
That
much.
was awesome.
I know.
Very
Absolutely
exciting.
fantastic. Yeah, well, I think as we move on from there, Margot and Walter, you're more than welcome to stay on or excuse yourselves. I think we have one more little topic to discuss, and I know we're pushing up to the deadline here, but just wanted to do a quick wrap up on Poetry Month, I guess. Lauren, thank you so much for organizing everything. Have we rescheduled yet for the reading at City Hall, or is that?
You're muted.
You're muted.
I had been thinking that it would be great to do it before the concert at Bur Oak, but I think the concert at Bur Oak has plenty of things happening, so that's probably not going to work. It turned out that evening probably would have been okay, and I'm sad about that, but it was too, the news was saying that it was going to be a big, huge storm. So I just didn't think it was going to be worth it to schedule it for that evening. And Jennifer and I discussed it and agreed. So anyway, I don't know. I can't think of when we might reschedule it. If anyone, maybe on the 4th of July or something.
Or Memorial Day's coming up too.
Memorial
Oh,
Day.
that would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah. I think that would have been a neat event. And I had some high school kids that were pretty excited about it. So it would be cool to do it. If anyone has any ideas, do you think 4th of July or Memorial Day? Does anyone have a feeling about it?
What about, and I apologize because I missed the meeting where we discussed this more, so I don't know exactly what the format was, but could you enter it almost as in the parade and have them recite as along the parade route? Because that could be kind of cool and get the most audience.
You mean like them riding on a float doing it? Is that what you're?
I mean, well, a lot of people just walk the parade route and do things, or I don't know, just thought of having spoken as they go down. There's cheerleaders that cheer. There's other things, so it could be just kind of I don't know. What's that?
Yeah, I sort of feel like a stationary place would be a better format for reading this poem, but I'm open to suggestions from anyone. So let's think about it. Maybe someone can meet with me and we can think about this for either Memorial Day or the 4th of July. Anybody want to meet with me on this?
Sure, I'll do. I mean, if you.
No, I'll do too, because I think we ought to do it at City Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I kind of
fine.
I love the imagery of it being on the steps at City Hall.
Yeah.
I do too.
I do too.
Although, Beth, now that you've said that, I'm also kind of loving the idea of having a kid with a block rocker or something in the back of a pickup truck with the same poem, just in the parade route and kind of blowing people's minds. So, all right. Well, yeah, Lauren, maybe let's find a time, and Jerry, that we can get together.
Let's just figure it out. Yeah, reschedule it.
But otherwise, Lauren, it was fabulous. We loved Ben's workshop as always.
Thank you so much for being there. I appreciate that.
It's a hoot. I love him. He's great.
I think if we're going to do this next year, we need to get some more help for Lauren. She puts a lot into doing all this, and yeah.
That John certainly offered. I know that I could have reached out more also. And I do think it would be great if everybody would come to the event that's at the poetry reading, because it's just a really, really cool event. As it turns out, we did get a very good crowd that evening. There was probably around 30 people for that, because it was outdoors and it was really special. I don't know how many of you have been to an outdoor event at the Garden Cafe, but what a community, what a community-minded person Gary Schoenberg is, to have that stage in the back there available for people to use and to have events. And I know he doesn't make any money off of it, but he puts his heart and soul into it and tries to provide really great events back there. Has anyone been to it before? He has. It's just so, it's lovely. It's really lovely. And it was a great event on the 28th. I think it was the 28th, whatever the date was, the 25th, whatever. So yeah, I'd love to see everybody come to that next year. So. Yeah. And also I do really need help trying to figure out how to get children to the children's workshop, because we've never had good attendance for that. And I know that we need to reach out to the schools, and I just didn't have the capacity this year to reach out to the schools, and I should have asked for help.
Well, we can also rethink the event into something, I don't know, something else that I don't have the capacity to think of right now.
The good news is we have a year, right, to think about the next go around. So, but thank you again and again, Lauren, for putting all that together. It's really, really above and beyond. And we'll figure out how to do that poetry reading and wrap it up.
Okay, thank you.
And one other thing that I guess didn't pop up on the agenda this time, Judy, do we have any further updates on signage for the sculpture park? Are we?
No. I'm really sorry. John had some stuff out too that I just got this morning. But yeah, go ahead, Judy. Sorry.
The guy from N Graphics got the prices back to me yesterday, and I sent them on to Jennifer. I didn't know if we'd get them in time, but maybe you can just email them out, or I don't know how that.
Yeah, I'll email them out, and then we can put it on for next week or next month. If that's all right.
Yeah, maybe we should plan. I just, when I went over to WashU and I saw the signage that they've done for their sculpture, I began to realize, which I think I'd recognize, are those plaques to me are kind of blah, I guess. And it just made me feel the ones we have now are much nicer. The plaques that they offer, are just plaques. They're just.
Is it the graphic? Is it the graphics? I mean, the typeface that you think is better at WashU?
Format, the bronze with the frame. It's just very unartistic, I guess. And seeing these elegant and rather simple labels that they've used at WashU. So anyway, I just preliminarily wrote to Don and to John, thinking that they might have some input or see if they had thoughts about it. And we did find out from Sabina Ekman, the director of the Kemper, where they had gotten them done. It was a design, which we could make our own designs, quite simple. We could do something similar. And then Graphics fabricated them. So John said he would check with Graphics to see what the fabrication costs were. So that's where we are.
So who did their graphics at WashU?
Graphics.
Well, that's the pepper. I've forgotten the designer. I can pass that on to you if you're interested.
Yeah. I called Lawnmower Sculpture Park, and they said they'd email me, and I got nothing back.
Yeah, well, this, in graphics, he sent me the working drawings for that, and it's not a proprietary thing. So it's fine that you have the exact thing. It's not a specially designed thing for them.
Okay, so maybe it was only the lettering that was the design aspect.
Yeah, and they're painted, they're powder coating painting, so you can have them any color
Mhm.
that really you want. I just thought the way they were built, that they would be more of a chance of them, getting damaged in the regular process, the way they're done, unless you had them cleared out, around it pretty good. Because the piece goes right into the ground, the painted part. So I had to him price those plus our plaque, the original design of the plaques, in both the aluminum and the bronze, and putting them on a stake. So all of that is in there, and maybe Jennifer can send it to everybody, or I went back to sending it to her as far as the dissemination of it all.
Yeah, I'll send that out.
He was very thorough with everything, and it like I had called them, earlier and never got any response, but I think that there must be a, like on the phone, the person who they say is gonna, you're leaving the message for, that's not who calls you back. It was a different guy that finally called me back. And he was great, and everything worked fine. He knew everything about the project that Judy had saw. So it was, he was pretty thorough, with the prices. And I think you'll see that when you see it.
Okay.
Actually, the one from Washington U, they were more money to install the way they're installed. But everything was within $1,000, $1,500 of all the prices, and the prices ranged from, I think it was like $4,000 to $6,000 for the whole project, all installed. So,
could we not have the Parks Department install them, or?
you could. I'm just saying the way he priced them. I think the stakes would be probably a no-brainer, but the other one, there's a little concrete pad under each one of those. So yeah, I'm sure the Parks Department could do it and you could save that money. I'm just saying the way he went to the covering all the spots.
All right. Well, I guess, Jennifer, if we can get that email forwarded to everybody.
Yeah,
you,
I'll send that out.
I guess we'll see if we can get something sorted out in our next meeting. All right. Is there anything else that
Did we do minutes?
we did? We approved.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I have notes until you, for a while,
All right,
until
thanks.
you came on, so. I
Plus,
haven't-
apparently we have a full transcript, more or less,
more or less.
depending on the captioning.
I just wanted to make everyone aware that the SG Collaborative proposal that is going to zoning does take out half of the sculpture garden, and I just wanted you to know that.
What? Which half?
It's the part that's on the western side of Lockwood there. I said
Yes,
floor.
and I did not realize that was happening. It's just shown there, so it's on their zoning request.
Oh,
I had commented on that months and months ago when they first showed it, but I just thought that was preliminary, that they weren't considering it. But why can't they consider it? It's not really critical for their development.
It's there. I just wanted to let you know that in their zoning proposal, it is taken out.
And can anyone at the city question that decision? It would actually enhance the development.
yeah, I would think so.
No, it's, I can't comment except that it's there.
Once they actually get scheduled for a meeting, though, I think the Arts Commission wouldn't be out of line to comment on it at that point, correct?
Correct. I think
Members can always submit emails and whatnot. Once they go to Plan Commission, get it scheduled for Plan Commission, I'll let you guys know. And same for council.
Yeah, I think if the Arts Commission is concerned, it would behoove us to make some sort of comment about it simply being removed.
Yeah, I was just wondering what's going to go in its place, because it's between the roads. You're not going to change the roads, are they?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, if you look at the plan, what they did was to take the part of kind of where it Ys there, they've just incorporated it all the way across to the main road instead of that little Y piece that goes in front of Red Lemore's there.
So they go over Shady Creek.
Oh yeah.
Or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I never even noticed. I thought it was just went along Shady Creek. When I looked at it, I thought that it would.
No, it's gone.
So anyway, yeah, Jennifer, do let us know, and
definitely.
Maybe
I didn't realize that.
We can all figure out some way to.
Well, we could suggest them incorporating the artwork that we have right within that. You know what I mean, like a visual extension somehow of the sculpture garden that's left into their project with, with the sculpture that we have in there. And
well, let's just see if we can get them to not disturb
Yeah.
it first.
I mean, that whole
Yeah.
garden is this it's partly the symmetry, which is kind of the wonderful
Yeah.
part of it. To just whack it down the middle is.
And when I've gone by, I have to tell you, it's just because we all worked so hard on that, all that lovely stonework that is there, that matches on both sides, is, I think, important. In addition to the pieces that are there, it's the whole look of it. So
it's really kind of become like a little entrance to the Webster, to the old Webster area. Like It's been there forever. When you drive on it, you seem like, what was it ever like before?
It was just done right. Yeah.
It is. It's a wonderful amenity. I mean, I take such pride every time I go by there. That is a fabulous thing. And the Arts Commission did it. It's wonderful. It shouldn't go away.
It's really interesting that the piece of art that Larry Chapman donated would be in the part that he takes out.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
And I have to tell you, I'm annoyed by
Irony.
the kind of lack of discussion of
Right.
we're doing this or any comment about taking it out. It's just taken out on the request.
Wow, that's,
Yeah, it's shocking.
yeah, it really is.
I have a quick screen share, but I looked at the plan and they could easily incorporate that corner that you see down here at the bottom into the development.
That's
because the street is closed, but it's a pedestrian, at least what's proposed looks like a pedestrian right away. And they could preserve that corner of the park pretty easily.
That's what I didn't see anything that was, before, like it was, that road is still there. They're just incorporating that road as part of their, the split road, but then people are going to walk there. So they could just walk to the park. I don't,
Right. It could easily be a destination and an enhancement.
And it wouldn't affect the symmetry and everything of the other section of the park, unless they just want to, make that the ta-da moment that you're in their position, their place, without any consideration of what's around them,
I think, Don, this is the September 2020 development drawing. You need to get the more updated one that they submitted into the zoning, because I think that road is gone.
It's online. It's on the homepage.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on the homepage of, okay.
Webstergroves.org. Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
All right, we'll take a look.
All right, well, keep us posted on that. Is there anything else? Anyone? On a somewhat happier note, just a reminder to everyone that Paint Webster will be taking place this coming Saturday. So we're having, Tom Hunt is doing a workshop from 10 to 12. All the information is on Webster Arts website. We've had 9 people sign up to do the workshop. So, and I think we've got about 30 people already signed up. We just have our fingers crossed that this weather doesn't happen again. So anyway, get out and check out the plein air.
Where can you get the yard sign for it?
So the yard signs, I think, have already all gone out.
Okay.
But if you're interested in letting us use your yard for a yard sign, let me know or just send a
Yeah,
note to the website, because that's something we do for events. So if you're
Okay. You definitely can use our yard.
You can borrow mine, Rob. We can share it between the two houses.
You can move it back and forth.
I was like, I don't have a sign.
Is there anything else that anybody would like to bring up?
Next meeting, June 1st.
Next meeting, June 1st.
First, bring food to Mayor's for Meals on Saturday morning. We're collecting for the St. Louis Area Food Bank in front of City Hall.
What day is that?
This Saturday. Everything is this Saturday.
Yeah.
This Saturday morning, 9 to 12 in front of City Hall. Bring food.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
All right.
Sorry
well,
again about this morning, guys. I don't know what's wrong with my computer. Giving me fits.
We're all having a slow morning because of the rain, I think. And I appreciate everybody hanging in there because I know we've gone over our time, but we have a lot going on.
Thanks, y'all.
Right? All right. See everybody later.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Thank you.
Oh, be June 1st, if not before.
So
Yeah.
pumped about that Bur Oak Festival. Wow.
It's awesome. It looks really cool.
It's awesome.
Bye.